Okay, so here we are in NetSuite. So this is, um, uh-oh, we got logged out, but we're going to get logged back in very quickly. I appreciate everybody's patience.
Hey, what I always tell people with this, Aaron, is whenever we get logged out, this is a great example to talk a little bit about our security, right? So,
Sure.
just like your enterprise supports, one login and SAML and all these different login capabilities, we take security here at Clio very seriously as well. So we are, SOC compliant. We are, we've gone through ISO certification as well. And we also have a trust center online. So if you are interested in learning more about our security practices, you can go there. But every time I get logged out, it's always a good reminder that it's a good thing that the systems are asking you for usernames and passwords there. So with that, I'll pass it right
Sure.
back to you, man.
Thank you so much, Tushar. It does log you out pretty quickly, so good security. All right, so what we are looking at right now is basically just a list of recent orders, and there are just various statuses. So I'm going to jump into one over here that's pending approval. Um, and so what I want to show is essentially just the data integration coming across into NetSuite. So you can see we've got the order number flowing across. This is the customer's order number, the customer name, and the order date. We've got our PO number attached to that and some additional sales information. We can also see that the items, right? The items are coming across here at the bottom and also seeing some shipping information coming across, as well as some billing information coming across, right? And this is a very basic example, right? Just for our demo purposes. But what's really important to remember is that we can integrate to any NetSuite field, including custom fields, including custom records. So as I mentioned, our accelerator, when we get started, crawls your NetSuite instance and pulls in all of those custom fields, all of those custom records. So it's one place where we really differentiate ourselves. We don't force you into a module that you can only use in a certain way, that you have to use in a certain way. We are going to use your customized deployment. We're going to use your custom fields, your custom records, and allow you to really operate the way you need to, as opposed to forcing you into some kind of a module box. This is a huge differentiator across the NetSuite integrations that I've seen. All right, so this is an order, and it is awaiting approval. So we can see that I could approve it here. Your process may not, may be automated, and that we are fully supportive of that as well. But for demo purposes, we can see this one is here ready to approve. If I come across here into Cleo Integration Cloud into the cockpit, I can see that same order. That purchase order came in. We can see some details from the payload from that purchase order. So that is here in the CIC cockpit. Coming back to these orders. So let's say in this one particularly, we can go ahead and approve this order in NetSuite. And that runs that process. The confirmation is successful. And when we come back over to Cockpit, what that would do. So one of the great things about this process is that as folks work within their operational processes within NetSuite, that is triggering automation across the platform and across the integration. So essentially, folks just doing their jobs is going to trigger all of that automation in the background. So taking a look at one of these that we have accepted, that is going to automate the sending of that order acknowledgement. And so what's happening here in CIC, and I'm going to circle back to this and talk a little bit more about it, but we're starting to build out a transaction chain where we're linking each step of that transaction together to give you incredible traceability. So now, if we're back here in NetSuite and we take a look at, let's take a look at one of these orders where we've moved that order all the way out to the build state. We've gone ahead and we've sent the invoice. And one thing to mention, while we're sending data back and forth, the way all of this works is through a native integration to the SuiteTalk API. So there's nothing proprietary or super custom. This is a native integration to the API the way it's meant to be integrated to. So now when we come back to one of these where we've gotten it all the way to the build, and this one ends in PAR. So let's go find that transaction here in CIC. Here it is. That one's PAR. We're going to go to the purchase order, PAR. And what you find is that we have tied together every document and interaction or event across the entire transaction lifecycle. So something to call out here, whether it's the purchase order, the acknowledgement, the ASN, or the invoice, everything is connected. Everything is tied together. And these are all triggered based on activities that folks on the NetSuite side are taking, kicking off automation, and that is automating all of these documents. And here in CIC, we're seeing them all together. Now, one other thing I want to call out, and then we're going to zoom out a little bit, but when we look at this area of this interface, this is entirely customizable. So you can actually pull out any details from the payload and show that here based on your workflows, based on what is helpful to the folks who are actually interacting with these messages. So now I want to pause. That is sort of a high level on our integration to NetSuite. I want to pause for a minute, and we're going to zoom out. We're going to zoom out and talk about Cockpit at a high level. So if you will, suspend disbelief with me for just a moment and imagine a world where everyone across your organization, from operations to tech to the customer service teams, to the finance teams, and to the leadership team, everyone can see what's happening, where it's happening, and why it matters. And that's what Cockpit is built to deliver. And think about the dashboard as your command center for operational insight across Cleo Integration Cloud. So what we're seeing here is the dashboard. These are high-level summaries over specific timeframes. The arrow here on the tile indicates the direction. So we've got inbound purchase orders, outbound ASNs, and outbound invoices. If for some reason I want to start tracking or start seeing other things on my dashboard, very easy to add them. Let's say I want to start seeing my functional acknowledgements on the dashboard every time I open it. No problem. I add them. Boom, we're good to go. Now, if at some point that stops serving a purpose and I want to eliminate any unnecessary noise, no problem. We can remove it just as easily. The point is that every single user across the organization, regardless of their role, can customize the dashboard to only see the things that matter to them. And we believe that clarity should never come at the cost of control. So you have total control over who can see what. So if a certain customer service rep only works with certain accounts, you can limit their visibility to just those accounts. Now, if I wanted to take a look at a specific order, I jump into this tile in the purchase orders tile. That brings me to the messages section with filters auto-enabled for inbound purchase orders. And if I wanted to, I can change the time frame. Let's say I wanted to choose one of these preset time frames or a custom time frame. For the purposes of this demo, so we've got plenty of data to look at, we're going to be looking at the last 60 days. And Cockpit offers multiple views, so we can have that tile view or this list or column view. I know some of the more technical folks typically like to see these column views. The good news is you've got a lot of data that you can add here in terms of the columns because anything flowing through the system is visible. You can drag and drop these, enable them or disable them, so you can see the data exactly how you want to see it and where you want to see it. We're going to stick with the tile view for now because I feel like it gives us a really fast, clear pulse on everything in motion. Now, on the left-hand side, we have our filters. And I think of these less as search tools and more as discovery tools because we can filter by so many different components: partner, issue type, SLA status, acknowledgement status, any one of these different message ID types, as well as data from the payload itself. So anything flowing through the system is indexable and it is filterable. You can actually determine which of these you want to surface as search boxes. And if you want to keep it minimal or have a more extensive list, that's entirely up to you. You control this. So now these tiles, we click into one of these tiles, we can see an order. Let's narrow. Let's take a look at just orders from our partner Amazon, and let's jump into one of these orders. And once again, you see everything is tied together. This is entirely in human readable form, but we also have all of the important EDI notation as well. We see it's an 850 and 855. We see that we've got a successful 997. Once again, over here, this is just data from the payload, completely customizable and up to you, just like the tiles on the messages screen. Also, data from the payload that you can customize. Now, if we wanted to view the original X12, we can do that here by just clicking on View Purchase Orders. We can view the translated message. So if we were looking at one in NetSuite, it would be NetSuite XML coming across. If we wanted to, we can compare them side by side to compare formats, do reconciliation. And if for any reason we wanted to download this original X12 file, no problem. We can do that directly from the interface here. We just download that file. If we've made a change and resubmitted it to the process, we can actually reprocess right here in the interface as well. Now, when we think about each of these individual steps along the way, if we wanted more detail, for instance, with this purchase order, we can see this moved from an SFTP mailbox to transformation and out to the outbound. Getting into more of those details, we can actually get further in. We can look at the logs. We can see every step along the way. We can see every step of the transformation itself as well. So we can dig in and dig in and dig in further and really see an incredible level of depth in terms of everything that happened along the way. Now, this is a happy situation, but things go wrong sometimes. And just very quickly to show you what that can look like, I'm actually going to pull up a save filter. Now, if you come up with a set of filters that work really well and expose something useful, you can save that filter for later use. You can schedule a report for that, so an automated report to go out based on that filter. You can decide who's going to get that report or set up a distro list on your side and dial in the frequency or the timing of that down to the minute. So you can get the data when you want it to the exact people who need it without ever having to log in. And so now when we're looking at this, if an issue occurs and we're looking at issues, the system's going to highlight those. You're going to get notifications, and those notifications will come with a link that'll take you to an issue report. I can also access that issue report here from this interface as well. So that'll drop me into this issue report. This isn't just an issue report. It's actually a ticket in our ticketing system as well. It's fully integrated to CI/CD. You never have to go to another system. You can actually watch everything happening live as it happens. So as the technical teams on our side are commenting and your team's commenting, and they can work together in real time to resolve the issue all in one interface. This is human readable. We've got the mapping failure. We see the document type. We can see that, hey, the system was expecting an integer. It got alphanumeric characters. It caused the process to fail, right? If we want to get deeper into this, once again, the same way we looked at the message lifecycle, we can do that here. Really obvious, the issue occurred at the transformation step. So we can start digging in. We've got the original payload. We can also look at the logs, and we can start digging in to where that failure occurred and respond quickly. It's, errors are going to happen. That is the reality of the situation. Things happen. The question is how quickly and efficiently you can respond. And when you have this level of control and visibility into everything, it empowers your teams to really take responsibility for their outcomes. And I think we're going to leave it there. Tushar, back to you.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we've got a couple of questions that came through in here. Fantastic work, kind of showing everything there. Folks, as a reminder, if you have some questions, throw them in. We've got a lot of them here, so I'm going to try to get through some of them. The first question that came up says, Aaron, you talked a little bit about self-service, managed service, and hybrid models. Can you elaborate on what you meant there?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So Thinking about services from two perspectives. You've got sort of runtime operations, day-to-day runtime operations, and then you've got design time operations. And we can help support both of those sides. So whether it's helping to do error resolution, issue management on the day-to-day basis, working with your partners, resolving errors in the background so that you guys can focus on what you do. We can do all of that. We can also provide design time services, onboarding new partners, onboarding new document types. And then we can also work with you in a hybrid manner. Say you guys want to handle the easy stuff, the small stuff on the day-to-day basis, basic errors, you can handle that, but you want us to handle more complex errors or just the design time. You can really decide how much you want us to help, and you can take on as much of those day-to-day operations or design time operations as you like.
Fantastic. Another question that came through. Sorry, before I go there, I just was going to remember. Cleo is actually hosting a webinar in a couple of weeks. I believe it's on the 4th of September. And what we're going to be talking about is our managed services offering. So if you've subscribed to our emails, which you would have been subscribed to if you signed up for this webinar, take a look at that. We're actually going to talk a little bit about how we're utilizing AI as part of our managed services to deliver a less than 1 hour response time for any tickets, any issues, and so forth. So pretty proud of the fact that our managed services has one of the fastest response times, if not the fastest response time in the industry. And then now what we're doing is we're utilizing AI to even improve upon that. So awesome. Another question that came through, Aaron, here, and let me just pull it up because I accidentally closed it. It was, do you support EDI documents relevant to procurement, warehousing, and logistics? I know we spent a lot of time talking about orders and invoices. What about some of these other document types that you might have in your supply chain?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned earlier, we can orchestrate the full supply chain. So thinking about whether it's procure to pay, order to cash, or logistics end to end, we have many very large logistics customers that work with us just to coordinate their logistics data. So yes, absolutely. Regardless of which workflow, whether it's EDI, API, XML, something else, regardless of the file type, regardless of the protocol, and regardless of the workflow, we can support all of those workflows and all of those message types. Absolutely.
Fantastic. I know we're up on time. There's one more question here on managed file transfer. And so we have this individual. I'm actually going to send you some links. I'll have somebody on the team send you some links there. A gentleman by the name of Sam, who was asking a little bit about our managed file transfer and all the different protocols. I'm not going to try and test Aaron on all of the protocol support that we have here. I'll spare him today. But we do have a couple of landing pages on our website where we can share with you that go through all the different protocols and what we support, along with some screenshots. Our managed file transfer solution is available both in the cloud and on premise, depending on what you are looking to do. So depending on the level of sophistication, depending on the level of throughput and all that you're looking for, we can guide you in that way. Another question came through. It looks like we're almost up on time here, but we'll ask a question. Does Clio work with Oracle Fusion, Aaron?
So ideally, we can work with pretty much any platform. Whether or not we have an accelerator for it, is a question, and we can certainly get back to you on that piece of it. But we are platform agnostic. So whether we have an accelerator or not, we can connect to your platform, whether it's in the cloud, whether it's on-prem, if it has an API, if it doesn't have an API, we will find a way to connect to it. We've done that across many, many customers, whether they have Oracle or something D365 or something completely obscure that no one's ever heard of that only works for metal foundries or something like that. That we have connected to pretty much everything you can imagine.
There you go. You will not scare our solutions architect team with your backend systems.
No.
Typically, we have a very extensible platform there, so it's fantastic. Another question came through is when will the recording be available? This recording typically takes about 24 hours to kind of scrunch through and go through that. And then we don't send emails on Fridays because we find that people forget as they head into the weekend. So we'll probably send out an email with the recording on Monday for you. If you have a more urgent need for it, like you've got a meeting or something like that tomorrow, reach out to me. I'm just first initial, last name at Cleo.com, and I can see if I can get you a raw recording for today if needed. But typically the emails will go out within 48 hours or so. So with that, I'd like to thank you, Aaron, for your time. Thank you, the folks that attended today. We have a few more questions that I was not able to get to, but we'll try and get to those here offline. But thank you so much for taking the time every day. We know you are busy. Hopefully you are staying cool with some of the heat waves that I'm seeing across the country here. So take care. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.